How to start your Monday morning. Start the fire, boil the water, grind the coffee, add filter, coffee in the filter, water into filter, watch it drip, more water, watch it drip some more, fill your cup, raise your cup, and no. Leave the house and leave it up to the professionals to make the coffee. I'll stick to the conversations. Welcome to Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. Good morning. Thank you so much for being with us. Of course, this is our 79th show. So excited. Of course, we took last week off. We took Memorial Day off because we headed to the Mackinac Policy Conference. I dragged Dean along with me, and he had no idea what he was in for. All the fun and all the people that he would meet. And actually, what's the funny thing about that is he actually knew a lot more people than I did there. So what's up with that? So it was a lot of fun. And the interesting part about this, though, is that the Mackinac Policy Conference, of course, we were there sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield. But my kids, they were taking their 7th grade field trip there. So I got there on Tuesday. They got there Wednesday night. And I was hopping the ferry back and forth so I could go meet them at the hotel at the appropriate time. So it was pretty interesting, a little bit of stress, but they had a great time. They rode the island on bikes for an hour and a half, 8 miles, and they really enjoyed themselves. And of course, Daisy bought about 3-4 pounds of fudge, I think, and Carson just wanted to go to Starbucks. So there it is, right? So we had a great time. We're glad to be back here. And today, so just so you know what's going on today. So today is kind of a different feel. It was supposed to be my all sports show because I love sports. And I thought, Lomas Brown, Mark Sackett from the Royal Oak Leprechauns, Ryan Woolley. He is my former sports anchor from WWJ. He is now the PA announcer at Comerica Park for the Tigers. So he will eventually come on. He just couldn't make it work today. So that is what we are doing. Lomas is not here yet, but Mark Sackett is. Thank you, Mark, so much for being here.
Thank you.
And so you are the owner and the general manager of the Leprechauns in Royal Oak.
That's correct.
At my favorite intersection.
Right.
Right by the fire station, the CVS, the Corewell Health, all of it, right?
You got it.
It's right there. And I drive by all the time, and it's so cool to see all the activity. Of course, you guys just had opening day, opening week,
Crazy
right?
week, sure.
Okay, so tell me, how did that go?
Well, it was great. We set record crowds for the first 6 games. We had over 5,000 people. In a park that only has 500 seats.
That is
so
awesome.
Figure that out, we'll do the math.
Right.
But it was great. We just had great support from the community, great support from the rec league that's there. I think the kids had a great time, and heck, the team went 4-2. So for a homestand, we're trying to keep up with the Tigers.
That is awesome. That is okay. So let's backtrack a little bit because some people might say, Royal Oak Leprechauns, what is that? Even though you see the field.
Right.
Okay, so tell us about the Royal Oak Leprechauns.
Well, kids, when they're in high school, they play on a summer baseball team. So they play their high school season, and then they go and they play for their summer team. And it's just more of a way to keep honing their skills. This is the exact same thing what we have for our college players. Okay. So these kids are in college. They play baseball at their colleges. And then in the summertime, they go to these various leagues around the country. And really, probably the number one or the most prestigious league for them to participate in is the Northwoods League, which is what we're a part of now.
Okay.
So we have 24 teams. We cross 3 time zones. And it's...
you have your own bus.
We don't have our own bus. We had our own bus. You're right. No, we rent buses. Okay. We have commercial buses. Matter of fact, the guys are on their way to Madison, Wisconsin right now.
Okay,
so that's about an 8-hour trip.
Yeah.
They go to Madison, then they go to Wausau, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And then they go to Wisconsin Rapids, and they come back home for another couple games.
Okay. Do they play tonight when they get there?
They do.
Okay. So it's like at the big leagues almost,
it is,
right?
It is. Well, they try to give them that minor league baseball field.
Okay.
Feel. So that's what it's. They travel all day. They play at night. Then they get up and do the same thing the next day.
And this is, you had said this is like their summer job, right?
You got it. Yeah.
That's cool.
They pay actually to play for us.
Okay.
They pay a little.
Okay.
But at the same time, they pay to participate and, get their summer experience in. A lot of college, a lot of pro scouts come to the games.
Very cool.
And they try to, again, last year we had 4 guys drafted.
Really?
Off our team, so it's kind of cool.
Wow.
So Boston, Detroit, St. Louis, and somewhere out there in Arizona. The Texas Rangers picked somebody up.
Really?
So,
Okay.
so it's kind of cool. And
How does that make you feel?
great. I mean, like I said,
Right?
we want to see more. In our league, we've had about 360 guys so far in the entire league that have been drafted or made their major league debut. So
Okay.
actually gone on and played Major League
Right.
Baseball.
Because
not
sometimes you can get drafted and
Yeah.
something happens, you don't play.
fizzle out. You know.
Right. Okay.
Right. Right.
Okay, but you've actually had that many play and debut.
Not our league has, but
Okay.
yeah, the Leprechauns haven't yet. So
Okay.
we'll see.
All
We're
right.
working on doing that.
Okay, so how did this all start?
So this started, we had a team locally, then we moved up to a next level team, and we were based out of Adrian, Michigan. So Adrian, Michigan has beautiful fields down there at a couple colleges, and we're in Adrian, so the Irish Hills area, so we're the Irish Hills Leprechauns.
Oh, got it.
That's how the name
Okay.
came. We struggled from an attendance standpoint, so we moved up here to up to Royal Oak.
Okay.
When we did that, we're looking for money. We got everyone's looking for money.
Everyone
right?
needs a sponsor.
Right. So we were trying to find something, and then one of the guys that played for me many years ago, and he was he played with my sons, was a guy named DJ LeMahieu. DJ now is currently playing for the New York Yankees. I think he was 3 for 4 last night, so he had a pretty
Very
good night.
cool.
So DJ is great, and he heard about what we were doing, and he knew we were looking for some sort of funding, so he lent me the money, and at the same time he became a partner with me
Okay.
in funding the refurbishment of the field. So it was great, and he's been absolutely awesome, very supportive. Kind of busy right now.
I was going to say, so he's
Yeah.
probably kind of off limits right now, right?
Right.
He's not in town or anything.
Right, he watches all our games that are streamed live,
That's cool.
and he always wants to know what's going on. I keep him updated as much as I can. But he's the one who really was the person that saw my vision and supported my vision and became his vision as well. So it's been a good start. It's our 5th year.
Okay.
It's our 2nd year in this high level league. So it's been a good move for us. We brought on a sales and marketing team that's done tremendous. As you said,
Yep, I drive by all the time, and also I'm connected to all of them on LinkedIn, I think, too.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
it's so funny. You always look at people like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, leprechauns. Who's with them?
Yeah, exactly. And so Kurt and Danny have been great at putting together a great plan for us. We got to have the business support. We got to have the local business support, but it's the business to support it, and then the communities come out. And the communities come out, and you hear them, and they all have a great time, and they all enjoy it. It's fun. You're close up. The Major League Baseball, you're a distance away.
Right, for sure.
For us, you're right there.
Are the players accessible after the game, or do they do photographs, stuff like that?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
They do.
The kids
Okay.
run the bases. All the players are on the
that's
field. The players come out and meet with the fans.
That's cool.
So it's kind of a special. It's a very unique feeling. And DJ put it in his words. He said, these little kids look up to the high school kids. The high school kids look up to the college kids. So we're trying to really kind of inspire these kids to continue playing the game as far as they can. There's not many going to make it to college or to Major League Baseball, but we're trying to keep the game alive. And I think we've seen it. The local rec league in Royal Oak, I think when we first started, they had 600-700 people. Now they're at 900, almost 1,000 kids in their program.
Wow.
So they're growing a lot. So I think the impact that we're making is more than just on the communities, but it's helping the kids want to play. And our motivation, when I started the Michigan our program a long time ago, my mantra was, or my slogan was, provide a motivation for education. So and I can remember sitting in high school and I'm on the baseball team, and I kept on looking out at that field. And the only reason I was in that classroom because I wanted to play ball,
okay.
and trying to get that motivation. So I feel like athletics does that in general, is provides those kids a motivation for the education.
Right. So sometimes, like you just said, it's like, okay, well, the kid wants to play sports. But they have to go through the classes.
Oh yeah.
You have to be academic, and you have to graduate. And there's a lot of stress involved with this.
Oh yeah.
Right?
No, without a doubt. Yes. And that's what our goal is. I mean, I understand that not many kids are going to go on and play college baseball or college sports in general, or let alone, professional sports. So the one thing we can never take away from those kids is an education. So we need to make sure we get that education. A high school degree, the college degree would be great as well.
So I just heard it right there, former teacher.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were a 5th grade teacher.
I was.
Okay.
I was in Troy for 24 years.
Wow.
Loved it.
Okay,
So
so
it's
a
great.
5th grade teacher, you kind of pivoted to this.
Yeah. Crazy.
But you were a college baseball player.
Sure. So I played a couple years at Michigan State. I kept that bench really warm for everyone.
Okay.
So,
You still have the green on, though.
That's right. That's right. Go green.
Go green.
And then then my dad was a high school coach at Birmingham Seaholm for 30 years.
Oh, okay.
So I helped him out for 5 years. And in one of those years in 1988, we won a state championship. And it was a miracle. We were called the Miracle Maples. There's a book written about us by T.C. Cameron called the Miracle Maples.
How cool is that?
It was really an amazing year. And because we won that state championship, that just suckered me into this coaching stuff. So I got into coaching first.
Okay.
So I coached on my own for about 10 years. And then I left my business that I was running, became a school teacher. And then I got back into coaching, and here I am.
And here you are.
You got it.
Wow,
So,
that is quite the trajectory that you've been on. So, and your dad played too?
Dad played at Michigan State as well.
Okay.
So he played a little minor league baseball, but I mean, that was back in the 60s and 50s and a long time ago.
Right.
So it was a lot different back then.
I was just going to ask you, how has the game, I mean, I love baseball, but how has the game changed? Because you're kind of on the front lines.
Right.
So what have you seen from when you were a college player to now when you're the owner of the Leprechauns?
Right. Well, it is, I think, one of the things that's partially kicked me out of the classroom and also kicked me out of baseball instruction is this new analytics stuff they're doing.
Okay.
Video. And, we all hate COVID and everything, but what it did was it really brought video and the analytics to the forefront. And, you've got to look at spin rates of balls and trajectories and blah, blah, blah. And it drives me nuts.
Right.
I like kind of going back to the basic roots of the correct form for hitting and everything. And you need that, but you've also got to read the data in order to improve them.
Right.
So, I don't think the game's changed a bit.
Right.
I think
how about the players? Have the players changed?
Oh gosh, I don't. I wish I have an answer there, but I don't.
Right.
I'm what I like to see as a kid growing up, and we'd go to Tiger Stadium, and we'd always want to see the players, and we never could, or we could.
They weren't accessible. Yeah, they're not accessible, right?
And at our level, at the college level, again, we've got mostly Division I athletes on our team, so these kids have a legitimate shot of playing at the next level.
That's cool.
We make our players accessible. Just this past weekend on Saturday, we had about 8 to 10 players that did a free clinic for the local rec league.
Okay.
So the kids, I don't know if it was that detailed instructional, but what it was the kids are able to meet these players. They're able to follow these players. We've got about 8 kids on our team right now that have host families. They're from out of town, and they come and they live with a family for the summer. And that's kind of cool. The one family we've got lives right in Royal Oak, and they got 2 little boys, and they just, one boy moved out of his room so that the player could have it.
That's awesome.
And they just love it. They just, they have lifelong friendships. So
how do you find those host families?
Beg and plead, I mean, we do. And Royal Oak and Berkeley have been very, very supportive, and they've been, because they're right there.
Right, for sure.
And they've brought people in, they're hosts. So we just put the word out and, hey, do you want to be a host family and have these players come in? My wife and I hosted a kid from California the last couple of years.
Okay.
And I was at a conference in April and in Las Vegas. And after the conference, we drove over to Riverside, California.
Okay. And picked him up?
And visited with him and his family. Watched him play.
Oh,
so
did
he
you
was
really?
still playing. Yeah.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
It was great. Those bonds are there, and that we have lifelong friendships now with him and that family.
The whole thing too with baseball, it seems like it just connects people.
Yeah.
Right. It's like a traditional sport, not like football is all sports are, but for some reason baseball just seems to be the one that I remember listening to the game on my AM transmitter radio or whatever. Not me, of course.
Yeah.
But so
Right.
do you miss playing? Do you still play at all? Do you mess around?
Oh boy, no, I miss playing. I guess I miss coaching more than anything else. But I think I love what I'm doing now is providing the entertainment for baseball. We got a lot of people that come to the game that are really not baseball fans. They don't know a lot about it, but
maybe they don't even know what they're like.
What they're doing.
Let's just go do this and have fun.
Right, and that's what we're trying. That's what we're trying to really, because I think that we can expose them or their kids to more different types of baseball. We have a brand new patio deck at our park, and we look for group outings. We look for groups coming, and we serve alcohol, and we have hot dogs and burgers and brats and walking tacos. So it's a fun night for families to come out, and it's and that's what we're trying to make it.
So how you said families, and I knew I should know this, but how much are tickets?
So our tickets start at $10,
Okay.
and that's just basically a general admission.
Right.
For $16, you get a free drink and a free food item. So,
So very, very reasonable.
Very reasonable.
Very reasonable for a night out or a day out
Sure.
or whatever with the entire family.
Sure.
And the kids get to run the bases.
Kids run the bases. 10 and under are free.
Okay.
Free. And heck, beer's only. We have $3 beer, $6 beer. We have 248 nights is one of our theme nights. They do the 313 and the D.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, we do 248, $2 dogs, $4 beers, $8 merchandise items.
Oh, see?
So it's just fun. It's inexpensive, and again, just trying to provide that entertainment for the community.
So when you are, I know you drive, obviously you drive by there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, how does that make you feel?
Well, I
to
mean,
see this field.
Yeah.
I mean,
So this goes back to that original thought is why are we in Royal Oak or why are we at 13 in Woodward? Birmingham Seahome baseball never won a district tournament, or never won in the state tournament. They've never won a district. And when I helped my dad coach in 1988, we won our very first district, and that was after 26 years of trying to win it, and we won it at that field. And we were right there. So at the end of the game, we're having a big father-son celebration and everything. Then he walked off the field. He forgot to get the trophy.
No.
So it's like, Dad, you got to come back. We get a trophy for this.
Yeah.
So that field is very, very memorable for me.
Okay.
And and it's kind of funny because we beat I think we went to win it all. We beat Brother Rice, Birmingham Brother Rice.
Okay.
And now DJ went to Brother Rice High School, and so he came over to that field, and he wasn't there when I was coaching, but
right.
But now it's funny because there are arch nemesis was Seahome and Rice were always the competitors, and now I feel like we're really linked up with Birmingham Brother Rice.
That's cool,
and they have been absolutely awesome. And I don't want to admit it, but I'll say that I'm kind of a Brother Rice fan right now. So
what?
Don't tell anybody that. This is not on camera, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
we'll bleep that part out.
Yeah, they cut it out. Cut it out.
Yeah. So it's funny you mentioned Birmingham Seahome. So I went to Wayne Memorial, and forensics was the thing that I did, and they were our Birmingham Seahome, right?
Yeah.
But are the coaches, if I'm remembering this correctly, were my coach and that coach were married.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it was very funny because every time we went to Birmingham Seahome, it was like, So I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Only that's the school you came from
right.
that you were coaching at.
Right,
so, okay. So what do you say to players who are out there who really want to play baseball in the big leagues?
Yeah.
And I mean, what do you recommend?
Yeah, they definitely need to get their summer experience, and they also, if they're younger, if they're middle school type, moving into high school, they got to understand that it's a real grind. Whatever level you want to get to. Our guys play 72 games in 76 days.
Really?
So they're playing every day.
Okay.
As like I said, they're traveling 8 hours.
Yeah.
To Wisconsin. They're going to get off the bus. They're going to have batting practice. They're going to play. And then they're going to get up the next morning, have batting practice, play. And they're going to move to Wausau. Then they're going to go to Wisconsin Rapids. So they're traveling. Then they're coming. I mean, when they leave Wisconsin Rapids, which is probably 9-10 hours from here.
Okay.
They're getting on the bus in the morning, coming home, and they're going to play. You got it. So we have our next homestand here.
Okay. So when is that? When does that
start?
That
will be next Saturday, June 7th.
Okay.
We have got, I can't remember who we got coming in, but we have, I think Madison's coming in, or I can't remember, whatever. Anyways, so we have a team coming in, and so they're on that bus, and for me, it's tough because I'm a little bit older, but for them, even for them, it's tough. I mean, you're not sleeping in the same bed. You're not having the same food. You're
exactly moving
along. So,
and so that, cool. I mean, but that is similar to what the other players experience.
Right.
I mean, that's how they live their life, although they're on planes probably, but.
Right. No, you're right. Exactly. The minor leaguers, I mean, they're playing 84 games in a summer. We're playing 72, so we're right behind them.
Yeah.
So it's hard work. And people say, oh, the glory of Major League Baseball, they're making so much money, they're overpaid, and I'll let you all be the judge of that. But the point is, these guys, even though they are traveling nice, I mean, 162 games is a grind.
Right.
Is a real tough challenge, and even though they're traveling nice. So,
even though they might be in first class.
Yes, right. Exactly. Or their own plane or
exactly.
nice hotels and things.
Right.
But it is a tough grind.
So is it ever too old to learn how to play baseball?
I don't think so. I mean, we got kids who started when they're in middle school and everything else. I think the biggest thing also is, you want to be athletic. If you want to play any sport and not just baseball, you can't just play baseball from time you're 4 or 5 years old until you're whatever. I think you need to play multiple sports. You need to be athletic, and then you just hone your skills when you're a sophomore, junior in high school.
So I've learned that a lot of athletes actually take ballet and take dance classes to be able to move easier on the field and stuff. Yeah. Is that something you did?
No, no. If you would, that's why I'm not a major league player. So no, it's funny, but those are things. You got to be flexible. You got to be stretching. You've got to be able to do a lot of different things. It's not just, well, if I play a bunch of baseball when I'm younger, I'm going to move on. It's not the way it is. I think you need to be that athletic person. Right. And then the teacher in you, of course, is saying, and you need the education. You got to have that education. Well, we know that. I mean, state rules are that you've got to get at least a 2.0 in your, which is not hard. I was going to say a 2.0. What is that? I know. Is that a C? You're right. So in high school to be able to be eligible in all 5 classes in order to be eligible to play. Okay. So, I mean, I think some coaches and a lot of coaches have higher standards than that. They put it up to 2.5 or whatever. And they want to see, because they know these kids they may want to play there, but they, again, get an education. That's something that never can be taken away from you. Right. So, and then who knows where it's going to lead you. So we have a lot of college interns who work for us this summer. Oh, yeah. You know what? I've seen that because you have some broadcasting interns, I think, too, right? Yeah. We even let some guy from U of M be one of our broadcasters. I know. It's tough, man. I tell you. That's it. I want to come over and call a game. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. We could get you up there. It'd be awesome. I'll be like, I think that's first base. What's happening? So, when people are leaving after a game of the Leprechauns, what are you guys hearing? What are you hearing the fans and families say as they leave? I think that was a lot of fun. Boy, I'm going to bring back my kids. I'm going to talk to my company about coming here for to have a group, have a fun time where I work. I think that's what they're saying, and that's what I hear them say. And they go, thanks a lot. One of the, after our first game, we had a group outing, and then they ended up, and actually DJ knew some of the people that were in that group. Okay. And he called me up, and it was so nice to hear him say this. But he said, I got about 6 or 7 texts and calls that everyone said the atmosphere was so great, and they loved it. And so sometimes I always don't hear that because I'm back in the kitchen cooking food for players or whatever else. But hearing him say what I want to hear, it's kind of reassuring to us that I think we're doing the right thing. When you come to our ballpark, you are approximately 30 feet away from the hitter. Okay. So you're really close. Major League Baseball, you're probably about 90, 100 feet away if you get really close. So our stadium is set up so it's really close to the hitters, to the pitchers. You can see a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and you can see really what it looks like. That's cool. And I wouldn't want to stand up there. I was just going to say. I like being behind the screen when someone's going at me. Yeah, I'd be like, I'm going to go sit over there. Yeah. I'm going to go stand across by CVS. Right, exactly. We have one kid who throws sidearm. He throws 92 to 93 miles an hour. And I mean, oh my gosh. And to be able, like you just said, to be able to see it up close is really cool because a lot of people can't afford to go to Comerica or to go see the professionals. And this is family fun and it's local and it's just, it's awesome. Yeah. And it could be some stars for tomorrow. Who knows? Yeah. Like I said, over 360 guys from our league have made their major league debut. So it's we're hoping in the next couple of years to see a former Leprechaun player make his debut. We'll see what happens. How awesome would that be? That'd be kind of cool. That would be very cool. Huh? Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. You're going to stay on the couch with us, but so your guys come back on Saturday. Yes, they do. They come back on Saturday and they play Saturday and Sunday? Saturday, Sunday. Okay. Then off to Battle Creek on Monday, Tuesday. Okay. So and then do you have weekday games too? All weekdays, weekends. Okay. Yeah, there's, like I said, 72 days straight. So you have to do the math. But we have our schedules available. Our schedule's online at royaloakleprechauns.com. Okay. Take a look at our schedule and come on out to the ballpark. Yeah, say man. Brooke sent you. Yeah, yeah. Say Brooke sent you, and I'll be out there and throw a pitch. That's right. You're going to throw. She will be throwing out a first pitch. So we'd love to have you, and we'd love to have you up in the broadcast booth, and just to give some of these young kids, again, that education standpoint, give them some pointers. Hey, here's what you need to do. you know?
Right. That's awesome. Thank you.
It'd be awesome.
Hey, I just got a job in baseball.
Yeah, there you go. You got it.
That's awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. You're going to stay up here, okay? And like I said, we were at Mackinac last week, and it's so interesting because if you've never been at the Grand Hotel, it is a beautiful, beautiful place. Of course, iconic. The film Somewhere in Time was obviously filmed there with Christopher Reeves and Jane Seymour, and they had actually redone part of the dining room, so it's very colorful. It's just amazing to be there. So that's where the conference was. We were in Media Row, and I had the chance to sit down with the president of the Grand Hotel, David Jurczyk. Let's watch. So I am actually at the Grand Hotel, and here's the funny thing. I'm sitting with the president of the Grand Hotel, which I think is so cool. David Jurczyk, thank you so much for being here. I guess you have to be here.
Well, no, we have to be here, but I don't have to be here.
Exactly. So you have, this place looks beautiful, first of all.
Thank you.
Bright, and it's just, you've done some major changes.
We have. So our owners have been committed to restoring and renovating the property since we purchased it in 2019. We've now surpassed $100 million of investment into the property. And if you look through it, you have.
Yes.
I don't want to get everybody worried about making a bunch of changes.
Right.
We are still working with Dorothy Draper and Company, who is has been our designer since 1978. We're not taking a large departure from what we had before, but we're just upgrading it, updating it. So we've changed some colors. So the color on the wall
is beautiful, seriously.
Is daffodil.
Yes.
So after the first flower that blooms on the island every year.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And then the color in the parlor is called Huron Sunrise. Okay. So if you look at Lake Huron in the morning, that's the color of the sun.
Right, exactly. So a lot of, and you said, I don't want people to panic thinking you're going to change, but you guys put a lot of thought into everything here, no matter what year it is, what's happening.
And there's always been, when the Musters owned it, it was always something different, something new at Grand Hotel. We want to continue that. And, part of it is we only have 5 months a year where we can do any renovations. You can only do it in the dead of winter.
Right.
So there's no opportunity to do it during the summer.
Right.
So you take those little times and do it the most we can possibly do.
Right, exactly. So, how many years has the policy conference been here?
I think this is the 25th.
Okay.
25th year. Could actually, because someone told me they've been coming for 30 years.
Okay.
So it could be.
Because I heard 22, so it's somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there.
Okay, so what number is this for you?
Would be my fourth full one, yes.
Okay, so how has it changed in the 4 years?
I don't think it's changed as much. After COVID, they reduced the numbers. Now they're coming back. We had 1,800 registered guests for this conference. I think the most they have is like 2,500. Okay. And I think that what they had told us is lowering the numbers gives more people more opportunity to meet people.
Right.
Putting 2,500 people in the parlor, I don't know if you get across the room.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And so that's done it. But, we love having people, see Grand Hotel maybe for the first time.
Yes.
What I love, I'm a political science major.
Okay.
And so I'm a kind of
so now with everyone here.
I'm a geek with this. And I tell people, I said, nowhere in the country can a chamber, whether it's in Houston or Chicago or anybody like that, pull in the people that comes to this conference from politics, as well as corporate, as well as not-for-profit, and they all seem to get along and work well and get things done.
Are you shocked by that? Are you sometimes
I'm a little shocked by it.
What's happening today?
Well, to see the Michigan delegation, Republicans, Democrats, both our state senators, in the parlor, talking to business leaders and watching a business leader turn from one to another. Again, it's not the norm.
It's not what usually happens. No. So I have to tell you, your staff here is amazing.
Thank you.
Everywhere you go in the media center, they're phenomenal. So I know service here is first class, and people who always have this idea of the Grand Hotel, it's gorgeous. And what would you say to somebody who hasn't been here but is thinking about coming?
Grand Hotel in itself is absolutely stunning and special and awesome. Mackinac Island is equally as special place.
Right.
So we won this year again for the third year in a row, back to back to back.
Yep.
#1 summer destination in the United States by USA Today. And so take a space where we've removed automobiles from your life for the last 127 years, and it's just a different. Walking up from the ferries to come to Grand Hotel. Grand Hotel is special, but it's even more special on Mackinac Island.
Do you eat fudge?
I try not to, but when it's around you every day.
It's around, you're like, I'll do that.
I lean to ice cream a little bit more
do you?
than fudge.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so what's your favorite part of summer here on Mackinac?
the hotel and the stories that we get to tell.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a natural storyteller, and so, you know, I've been in the hotel business my entire adult life. I've worked in a lot of new hotels, and I've worked in a few old hotels. Old hotels have history, not only from the history of the hotel, the history of the area, the history of guests I've met, and how this hotel has impacted their lives and their families' lives. And so I get to tell stories all day.
It's amazing, and
It's
you
amazing.
get to tell them and hear them
Oh, yeah.
and experience it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to listen to people that we have a gentleman, he's 85 this year, 85 or 86. He's been coming since he was 12.
Wow.
And so that's a lot of lifetimes of stories that he gets to share with us when I get the chance to speak to him.
That is amazing. So I was looking online and I didn't see my teacup for sale yet.
So that is a good story. So to everybody, they're coming. So we ran out.
Again.
No, we even ran out in here.
Really?
For business, we ran out.
Oh.
So we have incredible staff.
Okay.
We move really quickly, and unfortunately, sometimes things break.
Right, for sure.
Or they disappear.
Not me.
Sure. So the company that used to do it for us
Right.
no longer will
Yeah, I
do
knew
it.
that they had
So
switched, right?
So we went to another party. We used the same proprietary colors and all that Dorothy Draper made for us. So we have that now.
Okay.
We're buying extra so that we can sell them again. Online store is going to be reintroduced probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
Where we have a new upgraded online store.
Very cool.
So we can buy that. You can also buy a square of carpet of the old carpet and have a little bit of
Really?
Grand Hotel in your living room.
Okay, I'll just take the cup.
Okay. It's a little cheaper than the carpet.
All right, so 3 weeks, you said?
3 weeks. I think that's what they've told me.
All right. I'm taking your number down, man. And I'm
GrandHotel.com. It'll be on our online store. You'll be able to see the online shop.
All right. Well, I've been waiting a year.
Oh, I know. You have.
So thank you so much.
You and a bunch of other people, so you got to hurry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on. Well, seriously, thank you so much. I know you're
you.
so busy, but thank you for sitting down with me
appreciate it.
again. I appreciate seeing you every year
Yes.
and appreciate being at this beautiful place. So thank you so much. All right. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
All right.
Next
Thank
year.
you. And of course, that was the president of the Grand Hotel, David Dursick. Always a pleasure. And I am still waiting for those teacups. He said 3 weeks, so I marked my calendar, and hopefully I'll be able to snag one of those pretty soon. Well, it has just been a little chat fest up here. Let me tell you, you put two sports guys together, and what do you get? So Lomas Brown is here with us. Lomas, thank you so much. And I heard you ran into Rick Mahorn in the parking structure.
Yeah, the big fella.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a large human being. Yeah.
We don't know anything about large human beings sitting here right now, do we? So Lomas, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it. And you've actually, but this is your third time on Caffeinated.
Yeah, I know. We got the fancy new digs.
Yes, I know.
Now,
what do you think, huh? You loving it?
Yeah, I do.
I
love
know.
it.
See,
moving on up. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I like it.
So of course you have, everyone knows you, of course, from the Detroit Lions, Gardner White commercials now, right? And soon a golf outing, right? You'll be doing.
Yes.
We have a lot to talk about, but you have a foundation for kids.
Yes.
And you do summer camp, and that is close to my heart, and so that's why I brought you back, man. So talk to me about these summer camps. What's going on?
Yeah, it's the Lomas Brown Jr. Foundation, and you're right. My foundation is geared towards kids. I just believe that you have to help our younger generation, but in helping the younger generation in biparts, you do help the family. So it is the foundation helping the families, and we do 2 camps. We do a sports camp, and we do an educational camp. And the educational camp is the LEAP camp, which stands for Learn, Earn, and Play. And basically, we're drone and autonomous based. So just trying to expose the kids to as much as we can. So we work with 2nd, 3rd, 4th, all the way up graders. So it's interesting. But I'm telling you, you put something in front of these kids, and it's amazing to see how they absorb, how they adapt. And pretty soon, they're doing things. We had the kids last summer build their own drones and flyable drones. So they had to build a remote, the drones, and just to see these kids, like I say, 2nd grader do this, and just to see at the end of them just accomplish so much. So we just try to expose our kids to as much as we can.
And these camps, they go on.
Yeah, go on throughout the summer. They're free. camps. I always feel that my foundation, we take on the financial burden. We never want to put a burden on the kid or their family. So it's a camp that we put on for free. We can only handle 30 kids at a time, but it's a specialized camp that we do. And we try to run it throughout the course of the year. So we'll do a summer, fall, and a winter camp. So it's been going pretty good, picking up the Lions. They've been very, very good to me. My foundation has won the Inspire Change Award, so that's how we've been able to put on these camps. They're expensive camps to put on because you're dealing with computers, drones, different things like that. But again, we have to start exposing our kids to technology because it changes so much.
No, for sure. So what about, so right now you said 30 kids. How's it looking right now? Are you full?
So I got the 30 right now.
Okay.
And again, we want to open it up. So the best thing for me to do is to take it to the school districts. Instead of having the kids or the parents try to find me, I think what I need to do is find them.
That's
so
awesome.
it works better for me to work with school districts because they know the kids.
Right,
they
for
deal
sure.
with the families.
Yep.
So they already know that dynamic. So it's easier for me to go there. So we're working with the Detroit Service Learning Academy right now. We work with Pontiac School District. We've worked with Jackson. We've been throughout Flint. So we go Grand Rapids. We'll travel and try to take the camp there.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
It is amazing. So, okay, obviously you do so much out in the community and you are, what do you think of the Lions last year? Never mind.
Man, look, that was awesome. So I came in with Matt Patricia, so we know how rough those years were. So it was hard doing radio for the Lions and finding something positive to talk about back in those years. So it was a lot of stuff we used to make up on the air, but I'm telling you, these last 3 years have been just glorious, man. I'm so proud of the team, and I just think if it wasn't for the injuries last year, I think, going 15-2, getting the number 1 seed, being able to host playoff games at Ford Field.
Amazing, right?
I mean, it really was. But I think the injury bug is what really, really killed us last year. So that's something you can't count on. You don't go into the season saying, oh, these players are going to get hurt. But hopefully these guys will get healthy and we'll be able to get them back. Aiden's looking good. So, hopefully we keep getting all our guys back healthy.
Right. Okay, so you mentioned radio. So, of course, you do a show on WJR,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
So that station, whatever. I saw Paul, we were talking, I saw Paul W. and Lloyd and all of them
yes.
a little last week at the policy conference. And so how has it been for you? I mean, you've been doing it for quite a while, but to be on the radio talking about this stuff now, I mean, do you love it?
Yeah, I you know what, Brooke, I do. I really do. And I think what it's doing is helping me too with my play-by-play because for a while, this would be my second year doing full-time with WJR. So at the end of the season with 97.1 The Ticket, who does the Lions game, at the end of the season, I wouldn't really talk anymore until the season started again.
Okay.
Now with WJR and me doing sports rap every day from 6 to 7 p.m., I'm talking every day. So it's almost like I'm getting a chance to practice every day. So I'm hoping that that's going to, kind of spill into what I'm doing with the Lions calling the game and continue to help make me better doing that. So that's the biggest change. I don't know if my wife likes it that much because I'm kind of busy.
Yeah, you're missing dinner every night, man.
Yeah, you add something else to the plate. But it's been fun. It really has been fun. And, WJR is one of the flagship stations around here. Been around for over 100 years. So
I've heard that rumor at some point in my life. I don't know. I'm just giving you grief. Yeah, it's so funny. So when so obviously at the policy conference, I was there with Caffeinated, right? And WWJ was not there this year. And so WJR was there. And I saw Ray in the media room, right? Ray, the engineer. And I'm like, Ray. But then see Lloyd and Paul W. I told you on the horse taxi.
The carriage.
The carriage, yes, the carriage. But it is so funny to see everybody and to say, I told Lloyd, I'm like, I'm trying to get Lomas, man. He better show up. He better show up.
I know. Again, I didn't know that was such a I knew it was a big conference, but I just didn't know probably the variety of people that go up there. I
Right.
mean, it's just been so many people telling me, yeah, are you up here? Are you coming up here? And
Right.
it's just different fields, different industries that you see these people going. So I'm going to make it up there.
Are you going to make it up there? Okay. All right. You tell Paul W. you're hitching a ride with him, man.
I should go hang out with the legend. Just hang out with him for a day.
Just hang out with him in the media room.
Yes.
Just be like, hey, man, here I am. Here I am. Okay, so you have so much on tap. You are, speaking of WJR, you are doing a golf outing.
Yeah, so I'm fortunate enough to be able to take over the Paul W. Smith golf outing, which he's done for 21 years. I mean, it's amazing. He's raised over $9 million for Children's Foundation. So, you know, I'm fortunate to be able to take the torch and just try to keep building upon that. So I'm not a golfer, so I'm in charge of hydration and nourishment. So I'm going to keep you well hydrated and I'm going to keep you nourished. So they should be happy to see me when I show up.
When you show up,
yeah.
exactly.
So,
you'll be like, here's your water.
There you go. And there might be a little bit more than water, you know, so they'll be really happy to see you. There you go.
They'll be really happy. Oh my gosh, you are so funny. So is registration still open for that?
Yes, it is. So registration is July the 7th at the Country Club of Detroit. We're going to start at 10 a.m. And yes, please, I still need sponsors. So if anyone
I'll arm wrestle you, man.
Any sponsors out there, any corporations want to give to a great cause, it's going towards the kids for Southeast Michigan. It goes to the Children's Foundation. So we have sponsorships. We still have foursomes open.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Okay.
we still have those open too. So July the 7th, 2025, the Country Club of Detroit.
He'll be the guy with the water.
Yeah, that's a Monday. I'll be more than water. Like you say, come see. I might treat you. Oh, and I'm going to have a couple of guys. Barry Sanders will be there. He's golfing. Calvin Johnson will be out there. And hopefully I'm going to get Sonic and Knuckles out there, Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery. I have a special golf cart. So we're auctioning off golf carts as part of the...
Really?
Yeah, so we want to
cool.
be able to raise money. So I got a special made Barry Sanders, Megatron, and then I have Sonic and Knuckles. So
very cool.
Yeah, so it should be a fun day.
I think it should be fun.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question about David Montgomery. I think he was big in Scouts. Is he?
Yeah.
Is it?
And
in like Boy Scouts.
Oh yeah, he
was. He was,
yes,
right? Because my kids had mentioned that, and they're like, "We want to meet that guy." Now
What's
I'll have
the
to tell.
sign? Isn't it that?
I think so, right?
Well, we don't want to get in trouble now.
No.
I don't know.
But could you tell him that? Could you tell him that my kids want to meet him?
Yeah,
please?
I will. Yeah, because man, I like that. He's a big Boy Scout. So
he
is. Still be a big Boy Scout.
Exactly.
I guess once you're a Boy Scout, you're always.
Well, now it's Scouts of America because my daughter would be very upset with you right now because she's like,
Believe
we're
me.
all Scouts.
Yeah, I call my wife. My wife is a flight attendant. I called her
stewardess.
Ooh, she read me up and down. I was like, oh my goodness. So I never make that mistake again. So flight attendant, yes.
She's
Yeah, she's a little woman, but she went up and down. Man, I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, okay, so I won't do that.
All right,
anymore.
okay. So a couple things on your list. I'll write them down for you. What not to say. Okay.
Please.
All right. Awesome, Lois. Thank you so much.
All right.
You're sticking with me for a minute because so Chuck Aidika. I don't know if you know him, right?
Yes.
But it was so funny because at the conference last week, he was right next to us. So he was doing the podcast for Blue Cross Blue Shield. And so we kept looking at each other. And it's funny, everyone has this impression that everyone in the media knows everybody. But the fact is, you just know of each other. You may not have ever met. So that is the interesting thing. But I've been starting the segment. I started about 3 months ago of Where Are They Now? And it's checking in with local media who have moved on to other things. And Chuck was kind enough to sit down with me. So let's watch. So, of course, we are at the Mackinac Policy Conference, but this is super exciting. For the last couple of months, I have been doing a Where Are They Now segment with local media who have maybe left the industry or kind of pivoted. And what do you know? I am here with Chuck Aidika. And Chuck, thank you so much
Good to see you,
for joining us.
We've been shoulder to shoulder here the whole time. Yeah.
It's been so funny.
Yeah.
So how long has it been since you kind of left the industry?
So, well, you never get to leave. It's
Nope,
like
you
the
don't.
mafia. It's like
Yep.
the Sopranos. You
I know a
you're-
guy.
Yeah, so you always get called back. So I left full-time television news. It'll be 11 years in August.
Really?
Yep, time flies. And then I went back for a couple of years to do a morning show. And then ever since then, I've been blessed to be able to work with Blue Cross. I'm here with the podcast that we're doing,
Yeah.
Healthier Michigan. And I do some professional speaking. I work in and out of other things, and so do some video work. So it's been really great because my season of life now includes kids getting older, kids having kids. So we've got 8 grandkids.
Really?
And,
Oh, congratulations.
it's a wonderful season of being able to pick and choose things that I do. And, I guess I'll just keep retiring until I get it right.
Right? Exactly. So what do you miss? Do you miss anything about the everyday? I mean, it's a grind. We all know that, right?
But there's also this adrenaline thing,
Yes,
that
for sure.
happens in
Yep.
our business. I used to say I miss all my buddies, which was true.
Right.
And all my buddies have left.
Yes.
And so I still know people in the business, and I know people in radio because I did radio almost as long as I did television.
In your opinion, which one is harder?
I'll tell you what, this is interesting. When I got to Detroit in '82, I started working with Harper and Gannon on WNIC. And I went to my general manager at the time and I said, I have more people walking up to me saying, I listen to you than I watch you.
Interesting.
And he argued with me. He said, that's impossible. And Channel 2 at the time was not as well rated as it is now. And I said, no, I'm telling you that radio is helping. But what radio really did for me was not only help to put me on the map in the city, I think it made me a better broadcaster. Because radio, sometimes I wasn't in the same room. I'm at home. They're in a studio. They
Right.
throw something back at me that I had to return, something funny, whatever it was.
Right.
And it sharpened me up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I think so radio helped me.
It definitely
Yeah.
helps your improv skills, right?
Yeah.
And especially when there's something breaking or there's, you just have to go with it.
Yeah, so I have great respect for both mediums. I really do. But it made me a better broadcaster overall, radio.
Really?
Yeah. I
Interesting.
believe it, yeah.
I love that. So what is what's one thing you don't miss?
Working nights was an intriguing thing. I got used to the system my entire life. I was the main forecaster. I was the meteorologist on duty at 4, 5, 6, and 11, or 5, 6, and 10, whatever it was, whatever time zone I was in. And that meant that I had to find a place to live where I could be home, priority of hours as a couple, my wife and I.
Right.
I was home for dinner every night by 7 o'clock,
I love that.
unless tornadoes, snowstorms, something was going
Right.
on. And so I think what I don't miss is that break in life. When the kids were little, it was a blessing that I was home until 2 in the afternoon and with them. Once they went off to school, they would get to know Dad at dinner time, maybe after I got home, but they weren't up late.
They
I
weren't
wouldn't
up,
get
right.
home until midnight.
Right.
So I guess I don't miss working nights, but it just became a thing. To this day, I don't really go to bed until midnight.
Isn't it funny? Everyone, I think that everyone
Yeah.
I've spoken to has been like, my schedule stays the same, even though I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a crazy thing. And I can still, I've left Jay almost 2 years ago now, and I can still back time, and I can still hit something like within 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's just
You don't lose those skills.
No, isn't that
Yeah.
funny?
Yeah.
It's just like, who knew
And I did it, I did my career. I was blessed to have a great career. So many different things I was able to do, adventures that I never would have done, not because I was so special, but just because we have access to
Yes, the industry.
flying through a hurricane or going up with the Blue Angels, or all these things
Yep.
that happen in my life. And I just think, wow, what a career. And for us to come through a time when it was maybe more important to listeners and viewers, it was more a fabric of life, than now there's so much competition for listening.
Yeah, everyone's watched the news.
Yeah.
Right? And turn on the radio to, all of that, to be stuck in traffic or whatever was going on.
Yeah.
And now it's just kind of different, It's
And in my career coming up, I learned early on from research, excuse me, the number one thing people used to watch television news for back when I started was the news of the day, the news person, maybe the weather, and then the weather person. It was interchangeable. Within years of me coming into the business, it became the number one reason people were watching was weather or weather person. And that's because it was really the one thing that affected everybody's day.
Yep.
And if you could, and in my case, I love people, and I hope it's in reverse. But I really came to feel that if I could be that person that they could trust, And again, remember, this is back in a day where we had TVs at the kitchen counter, in bedrooms. It's a very intimate medium. So we've all had this opportunity to become a member of the family. And when I hear, someone say hi, or I used to watch you when I was growing up, what a high compliment, really, to feel like they know me as a person, that they, I was part of the family.
Right.
I'm just telling you, I get goosebumps thinking about it now.
They're like, it's Chuck, my best friend.
But that was a great thing.
No, for sure.
It really was.
Okay, so one more question. So what about, so like the weather, do you?
Every day.
Do you?
Kids know I'm watching it every day. Kids know that I'm going to text them, watch out, there could be a warning.
So yep.
Oh, travel, I'm looking at it. The funny part is that I hate to carry stuff.
Okay.
So I have been caught at times when it's raining and I have no umbrella, and people are like, what?
How could you not have an umbrella?
I know it's coming. It's just, I hate to carry stuff because I always lose, I lose my sunglasses. That's why I'm holding onto these. I just lose stuff. So, but yeah, every day I look at it.
Yep.
Where's the hurricane coming? Who's going to be affected? And it's got nothing to do with me being affected. I just keep an eye on it.
Love it, right?
Yeah.
You just love it. Okay, one more question I lied about that being the last one. If you were to meet your younger self for coffee, what would you tell him?
My younger, it depends how much younger. I started out to be a doctor. I was in pre-med, pre-dent at Loyola University, dropped out in the first half of my first semester. So the moral to that story is it can all work out. So I took science, math, journalism, which I love, and brought it together. And I thought, TV meteorology, plus you get paid, and even if you're wrong, so what a country.
You're the only one that can be wrong, and nobody, you don't get fired.
Sometimes we were. But I guess I would tell myself, it's okay to zig and zag in life, whether you're 18 or whether you're 80. It's okay. And, you and I were talking about this a little while ago, this idea of the second half of life. For me, the math doesn't work out. I don't have another half. But I think this idea that no matter what your age, you're always able to reinvent who you are. And when I first was leaving television 11 years ago, I had to say to some people, including some of the kids, I'm having the most fun being confused I've ever had. I didn't have the pressures of an 18-year-old. I was older. The kids were mostly through college, and that was good. But I think that would be what I would say to my younger self is don't get so uptight, especially now in this kind of an economy where it's kind of a gig, or maybe we move. You've transitioned, right? You're reinventing. Just be encouraged that no matter what age, it's never too late to be who you're supposed to be. And I don't think when I was younger, I understood that. It was a bit more anxiety laden, and now I've realized, no, it's okay.
It's all right.
Yeah,
we're all
zigging
good.
and say, if God wants you to be somebody else someday, it's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Look at you. Look, I see you right there. Yeah.
No, it's awesome. Seriously, thank you. It's a pleasure.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a pleasure to talk to you, and to like he said, we've been next to each other this whole time.
We have, yeah.
So, podcast.
We've been having coffee at the same time too.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Much, Chuck. I appreciate it. Okay, thanks.
Sure thing.
And of course, that was Chuck Aidika, and he is such a nice and fantastic guy. So if you've never met him, he is just what everyone says he is. He is wonderful. So it has been a little chat fest up here. It has been awesome between Lomas and Mark. Barbie is with me now. And of course, if you've been to the show live or if you've been hanging around, Barbie has been with us since we were at the Imagine and now here with us again. Although now today she's got her acting hat on because you are talking about the Magic Carpet Theater.
Yes. Magic Carpet Theater. The primary thing that I work with them is the literacy program. So we go to different schools and we open up their imaginations by reading, so to speak, from a book, but we have it memorized and we act it out. We don't have any props. We don't have much of a costume other than a scarf, a hat, and different coats. And we use those to transform into 95 characters.
Wow. How many actors?
3.
Oh, so three actors play 95 characters?
Out of all of the stories that we do.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, and you don't want to hit that guy.
Right.
Yeah. He'll hit
Well,
you back.
actually, we'll get back to you in a minute. And so we work on grants. So the Eagles for Children just gave us the opportunity to work with schools that are underserved. We were able to go to the Detroit Public Library in Redford, and they had invited 3 different elementary schools. So that was a lot of fun. We had 2 shows in one day. The first one was at an Inkster school, and then there. We have performed for over 260,000 kids.
Wow.
Well, some adults.
Right.
The teachers. The teachers. I know you know us. So anyhow, we've been all the way from Alaska. We're in from Michigan and then down to Florida. We've been in a couple of the other tri-state area in Pennsylvania and so forth. So we travel. We travel all around Southeast Michigan. So what we're having on June
6th. Let's not go back to January.
I know,
please.
right?
The weather
Okay,
just started warming up.
Doing that. Okay. June 6th, Magic Carpet Theater is having a fundraiser. And it's called True Story. It's along the lines of the Moth Radio Hour, which is NPR.
Yep.
Okay. And it's at the Detroit Brewing Company. And it is storytelling.
Oh.
So it's true stories.
Okay.
People are getting up and just
So kind of
talking.
like open mic, but
It's
true
open
stories.
mic.
Okay.
Yep, true stories. And so the theme is whoopsie.
Oh.
So I'm sure both of you could spare some time and do some whoopsie stories. We're looking for a couple of slots to fill. Anyway,
I know.
it is. It's from 7 to 10.
And it's a fundraiser.
It's a fundraiser,
Right, so it's
absolutely,
a fundraiser, right,
so
okay.
that we can go to more underserved schools. And what we do is we give them the performance for free or a highly discounted rate, and it's so touching when the kids will come up and just give you a hug because they I like you, you're good at the sneech,
Right,
right. That kind of thing, and they just have fun. We do participation with the children as well. So we have them make rain sounds for one of the, and then there's sneeches with stars or stars on their belly or no stars on their belly, and they get to act happy or not. We do the lost sheep. Is for one of the parable projects that we do, and all the kids get to buy when they get to decide if they're if they're going to be buying or not.
Right.
And the kids just love that, and that's the humor comes in the play with them, the interaction, because they learn more. They want to be more engaged. They focus more. And reading is one of the most important things. You can't do anything unless you read. I mean, you can't even read a recipe. You can't get a driver's license. You can fake your way through it, but
Only
it's one
so
of the
much,
most,
though, right?
Only
I mean,
so much.
only so
Yeah,
much.
you have to learn to read, and that's the key to anything going forward. And so that's why we like doing it. She's been doing this. Catherine Zardis is our fearless leader. She founded this company, I want to say more than 25 years ago, but Catherine, I don't know exactly how many. I've been there with 9 years.
Okay.
And then Lee's has been 22, so maybe it's 30.
Right.
I should know this, but so that's the fundraiser, and it's $15 as a light supper, cash bar, and a few other things that are fun,
And some entertainment.
and a lot of entertainment.
Right? So,
So it's on Perry Street in Dearborn. Let's see, cash bar, handcrafted. So I have to check my notes here.
That's okay.
Yep. Don't have that one there.
Is there a website maybe?
Yeah, there is. MagicCarpetTheater.org. Okay. And the Facebook page has all of that
Okay,
too.
so people, so there's slots still available
Oh,
to
yeah.
either speak or to just come and support.
Yep.
And people can just support the theater, I can imagine, anyway.
They can
by
support
writing
the
a
theater
check, right?
anyway. Yes, there's a donate button on the website. It's also word of mouth. We get a lot of teachers telling other teachers and principals, and so that's how we get invited into schools. Catherine's on the phone all the time looking for new people, school districts for us to go to. Libraries bring us in.
Oh, right, yeah. So, but this is during the school year, so now summer, right?
Yeah, we just closed out our last on May 29th was our final show for the school districts. But on June 30th, we have a bridge program, which is about writing.
Oh,
So it's
nice.
usually for the older kids, and we
Right.
do Horton Hears a Who, and there's a bunch of other things in there, so that it gives them theme and conflict from the beginning to the end. What's the arch of the story? How do you solve it? And a lot of times, Catherine will have a story writing contest, and then
very cool.
we read it, and then we act theirs out for them, and so it's a lot of fun.
So that is June 30th. Is that still open for kids to register?
I don't know where that is.
Okay.
But if you go on our Facebook,
Refer to the website.
exactly, I know where I need to be and when. But yeah, if you go on the website,
Okay.
you will ask Catherine a question, or go on Facebook and we can ask Catherine a question and see if there is the opportunity. I don't know if it's at a school or at a library.
Okay.
But especially if it's at a library, of course, it's open.
Well, plus, I mean, by then all the kids will be out of school and all the parents will be going, okay,
what do I do with the children?
You?
Right,
yes,
right.
What am I
Yeah,
doing?
that works out real well.
So that will be good timing.
Yep.
So June 30th for that event, June 6th for the one this week.
Yes, Thursday.
The stories are, what are they?
Whoopsie.
Whoopsie.
Whoops. Didn't mean to have that happen.
Exactly.
So there's could be some good ones there.
There could be. So
yep.
I can only imagine what these two might
I know, right?
Mark,
Wow.
So how much fun would that be for you guys, right? Open mic?
Yeah.
How many stories do you
Really?
have?
I would listen to his
all right.
story and I would tell his story.
Nice. Okay, so thank you, Barbie.
welcome.
And I wish I could come to that because it
I
sounds
wish
fun
you could
and you know
too.
me well,
You
so
have
I have a lot of
lots
oopsie
of stories.
stories to tell. So
We
that
wish you could
yes.
too, but we'll have another fundraiser
Yes, awesome.
for you.
So that will be exciting. So please join them if you can. Okay, so before we go, somehow we had 3 guests and we're real close to our hour, but I'm not going to let you go without asking you this. So Mark, if you met your younger self for coffee, what would you tell him?
I would say follow your dreams, stick with it, follow and go with where your passion lies for a career. Don't look at the dollars, look at the passion.
Really? Mm-hmm. I love that. Okay, Lomas, you're up next.
Probably strap in because it's going to be a hell of a ride. I mean, it has. I've been blessed. I really have been. So it's been a hell of a ride so far. So we're still on that ride, still on it,
Yes,
still
you are.
going. So yeah.
Right? So just strap in and buckle
Strap
up,
in,
kid.
buckle up, because it's going to be a nice little ride.
Love that. Okay, Barbie, you're next.
Oy. So was it Chuck that said you're never too old to reinvent yourself?
Mm-hmm.
So I would just remind myself much earlier.
Yes.
Because I think decades in, I realized it seems to be a decade thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do this now, and I'm going to reinvent myself this way. And so just to know that don't be so afraid of what your future is going to be like, right? Mm-hmm. And like you started with acting, and I started with broadcasting. You ended in broadcasting, and I ended in acting. So
You just never know where you're going
you
to
never
be,
know
right?
where you're going to end up, right?
He ended up on a baseball field. You're in
Right,
a football
right.
field. No. Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, listen, thank you guys so much for being here. I've been tracking Lomas down just for the record for about 9 months now. I finally got him. So thank you so much. And Mark, what a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
Seriously, I drive by there all the time and I'm always like looking and, it just is so cool. I can't wait to take the kids there. So
Got it.
thank you. And of course, Barbie, thank you always
yeah.
for being here. And Dean,
Yeah,
thank
man.
you for going to Mackinac with
Okay.
me last
Well,
week. I
we'll
know
talk
it was a
more.
lot. So thank you all, and thank you for being with us. And of course, we will see you next week. Have a good week. Keep the coffee hot or maybe iced. We'll see how those temperatures go. Bye-bye.